Peacock is very involved right now throughout everything. How important they've been very involved in football, which I'll get to in just a minute, but from a basketball perspective, how important is them being able to push your content out to streaming and get a lot more games on that type of platform?
Yeah, I think it's really important to, obviously media and the landscape is changing, and you're seeing a more move towards streaming, and the fact that the companies that are involved in streaming, like Peacock in our case, care and want sports to help drive their audience and drive engagement is really great for our landscape. So like anything in transition, there's always a little bit of a time that people get used to how things are moving, but we've seen it before from over-the-air TV to cable, so it's not, it's a different space, but I think people, hopefully will be able to find it. It'll evolve. Like, there'll be consolidation and things will change. What it looks like today will change. But I think the most important thing is that we need to be on all the platforms that matter, and we need to have our content, and we need to make sure that our content that we're pointing forward, that we continue to do a great job on the linear cable side, but that we also understand that streaming is a big part of our future.
You've got a solid month and a half of data right now when it comes to the Fox, CBS, NBC. We mentioned Peacock already. So from a football perspective, what feedback have you heard? And I know CBS is kind of split this year with their last year of the SEC, but what feedback have you heard in terms of this 6 to 7 weeks of data?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I'll say is that if you look at the actual scheduling and having some Fridays and then Saturday on, with Big Noon, Saturday at 3:30 with CBS sort of in this transition year, and then NBC on Saturday night, clearly it's going to be terrific. And so, like anything, like next year it'll change again with the 4 new members coming in terms of the depth of the inventory. But we've got a great footprint that reaches a lot of people every week, and I'm really confident that games will we'll have big games in all those windows. But this year so far it's off to a really good start, knowing that this is kind of a transition year. It's the first year of a new media configuration, but at the same time we're still waiting for the new members to come in, so it's a little bit of a hybrid year, but off to a really solid start. The partners are happy. When they saw the schedules that we released last week for those 5 years, I think the quality of the matchups, even our network partners were really they were expecting a lot, but they were even pleasantly surprised. So
what went into
good.
The scheduling? I know that was a big deal last week, and you talk about matchups. You see Oregon going to Michigan, Oregon going to Wisconsin. It got a lot of people fired up. What went into the scheduling model, and then doing it in a 5-year release right now?
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that we showed the depth of the work, and doing 5 years made a lot of sense, especially in 5 years. It became like a magic number because everybody will be home and away in that 5 years, so it made sense to focus on the 5 year as a rotation. I think what was really important, and all this work was underway before I took this position, is balancing traditional rivalries, competitive balance, connecting the conference. All of that work was being done for USC UCLA. We just had to pivot a little bit, expand it, and kind of start over in some ways, but also we held to the same principles. And so the team pretty much did that work and got feedback from our athletic directors and also from our new members about what the right way to do it was, and we got to, I think, a really great place.
When we talk about Oregon and Washington coming in, and now we're here with basketball, what kind of a concern has been travel, right, for basketball? Football, you go out there one day, you come back, but you play multiple games in a week when it comes to basketball. How do you plan on approaching that here in the next year or so?
Yeah, I think playing multiple games is really the key to reduce travel. So when teams go from east to west, they'll play 2. If they're playing the 2 Northwest schools, they're playing the 2 LA schools. They won't make a second trip to do that, so it'll be that one trip. They'll play there. And people, look, there's a lot of travel for non-conference as well. So, the players are used to it. I think we have a lot of student athletes who are extremely excited about, playing in different places. These venues that we're talking about, our 4 new members, to go play there will be great. They're excited about coming to play at some of the great Big Ten places, and so the key thing is cohesive. But like the simple answer is travel is the front of mind, but there are some ways that we can do this by sort of managing whether we go to when West goes east, whether they play 2 or 3. We're working on all that.
You've been on the job now. This is your first, like I said, 6 weeks in football. What's kind of stood out to you? I'm sure you've been to a lot of different venues to see a lot of these great football contests. What stood out to you about Big Ten country so far?
Yeah, no, it's been great. The reaction of the fans, and I think what I really love is like each place has got its own unique traditions, and you sort of you sort of know that, but then when you go and experience it, I've been to a whiteout, I've been to Minnesota, I've been here for a game, I've been pretty much in a lot of places, and they're all unique, and they all celebrate their own history and tradition, and watching the students interact, in terms of being on campus, that's been the best part.
Last thing, being in Minneapolis, right? We got the men and the women here this year. How important is it to having it here? Media days here, the basketball tournaments here. How important is having both men and women here?
Yeah, I think what's great about this is you're in the center of the Big Ten. It's obviously a great historic Big Ten market, and so to be able to reward fans of Big Ten fans, get them the opportunity to see two tournaments in the market, I think is really important, and connecting our fans who support you all regular season, giving them something special at the end of the year is a great thing.